Hi, my name is Allison Martin, and I am the Children's Ministry Coordinator here at Genesis. I'm very excited to share with you guys this morning. I am going to take you guys along for a sneak peek in what it looks like on a Sunday morning. So we're going to go through the lesson that we are going through on Sunday morning with the kids. So you guys can kind of understand a little more what happens back there, and also how it's applicable to all ages and to us. So we're starting in Luke 24:36, which is coming off of the road to Emmaus after the crucifixion and the resurrection. So, starting in 36, as they were talking about these things, Jesus himself stood among them and said to them, "Peace to you." But they were startled and frightened and thought they saw a spirit. And he said to them, "Why are you troubled, and why do doubts arise in your hearts? See my hands and my feet, that it is myself. Touch me and see, for a spirit does not have flesh and bones as you see that I have." And when he had said this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they still disbelieved for joy and were marveling, he said to them, "Have you anything here to eat?" They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he took it and ate it before them. Then he said to them, "These are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures and said to them, "Thus it is written, that the Christ should suffer on the third day, rise from the dead, and that repentance for the forgiveness of sins should be proclaimed in his name to all nations, beginning from Jerusalem. You are witnesses of these things, and behold, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you. But stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high." So the verse that we're going to focus on here is verse 24:44, which is the focus verse that the kids are also going to focus on Sunday. And it states, "Then he said to them, these are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." So the takeaway from this that I'd love us to look at today is how God is a promise keeper. This is something that we're also going to be looking at with our kids, and how sometimes when we don't really understand what's going on, when hardships happen in our lives, God has such a bigger picture than we do. And we can also rely on knowing that God is a promise keeper and that what he says is true. When the crucifixion and resurrection happened, well, I guess after the crucifixion, before the resurrection, I'm sure the disciples were like, "God, what is going on? This was not the plan. This is not the plan I thought was great. Like, I don't know about this. This is not good." And I think so many times in our lives, I know in my life, I'm like, "God, this was not the plan. This is not going to according to plan. Like, I don't know how we're working out this problem. This is not what I wanted. This is not the plan." But acknowledging that in that moment, God had such a bigger plan, such a big plan that it went back all the way to creation and goes all the way past where we are right now to the future. And especially in those 3 days, the resurrection. So God had a huge plan to save us, a huge plan that we didn't even see and the disciples didn't see. So acknowledging that in our own lives and knowing that when I am like, "Lord, I do not feel like this is the plan. I don't know how you're going to make this work," that God is a promise keeper and that he knows what he's doing. That when we feel like, "Lord, you are not answering my prayer right now the way that I wanted you to answer it," that he has bigger plans, that he can see our past and our future, he can see his kingdom, and that he knows what's best for us. So they kind of throw in the question at the end, not at the end, but like kind of a reflection question or something that might come up for the kids is like, what about, they say depression, but this can be used for all types of mental health and also will be tailored to the kids' age group. But for us, I think that's a great question. Like, what about depression? What about anxiety? What about all sorts of mental health crises? What about that? Where is God in that? And I know I felt that before. And I'm sure a lot of you have felt that before. And in the midst of that, it can feel so hard. Like, where's the deliverance at the end of this? Where's the hope? But holding on to the hope of Jesus Christ is so helpful in those moments. And I know that personally too. And that it can be so hard in that moment, but that it is fruitful in the end when it feels like, oh my gosh, I can't, like, this is so heavy. Knowing that you don't have to carry it on your own, that the Lord can carry it with you, that he can carry it for you. And one verse that they choose to focus on during this is Psalm 34:18, which I know has helped me in life. And it states, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all." And I have personally felt that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and I hope that in each of one of your difficulties and those sadness and those mental health struggles, that you can feel that the Lord is near to you, and that is a statement that the Lord made, that he will live up to that, just like he lives up to every other promise. So if you are like, Lord, I'm gonna give my time, I'm gonna trust that you are near to the brokenhearted, like, he will be near to you, and he is near to us. So just allowing ourselves to sit in that promise can be so helpful in those moments. So I hope that's really encouraging for you guys today, and that you also love being able to get a little bit of a sneak peek back into Next Gen and what we do on Sunday mornings. So I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.